Welcome back everyone to another ESO build video. Today is the brand new update to the Almost Immortal Warrior Tank build. This is a Dragonknight Tank for the Scribes of Fate DLC, and it has been around for a very long time. This was the first build to ever land on my channel. You can still play it the same as it was ever built. It's kept its basic design, and it has over time actually become more effective. Now, if you've seen this video before, or this particular build before, then you probably know what to expect, but maybe you haven't kept up to date with the recent changes to the game as far as tanking is concerned. So some of this may help you over top of what you already know. If not, if you're new, you're about to see some shit you haven't seen. There are multiple different variants to this build, all basically playing the same, but with different results depending on what your group requires. So there are healing versions, there are pen stripping versions, there are buff versions, there are defensive versions as far as resistances are concerned. There are lots of different variants to this build on the website. So if you click the link for that, you'll be able to see the different gear sets. But this particular video is going to be demonstrating the group supporting side of things as far as their survival is concerned. Your survival and theirs. People are not going to die very easily. And you're going to have full control over the enemies that you encounter. So if you want a very, very tough tank that is literally so hard to kill that your healers don't need to babysit you anymore, you're in the right place. So we're going to go into our stats first of all. We're going to pop all of our bonuses and such that are running. Nearly 2.5k mag recovery with 15.8k magicka, 50.4k max health, 20.8k max stamina. 3k health recovery that can actually go higher, but we'll worry about that later. That's buffs and bonuses that we don't actually currently have. Our weapon and spell damage is not that high, but it doesn't really need to be because we're not built for doing damage. And our resistance is a 31. That just ran out. Let's do that again. 31k and 30k. Now, of course, we are not far off of cap, so a minor resolve in the group is enough to push us to that area. We don't have it ourselves, but if we have it from somebody else, we're capped. We're done. 64 points into max health, and we're using the Atronach Munderstone, giving us increased mag recovery. Bear in mind, the food that we're using is flat stuff. I know people try to force you into believing that you need to use Tri-Stat on everything. You do not. Tri-Stat on this build makes it actually less effective because we utilize our maximum health. The higher the health, the more effective some of our skills are. We're built for magic recovery, so we don't need the pool. We don't need the size of the pool. The size of the pool enhances some of your skills that require max stats to increase them. None of the skills we're using will necessarily benefit from that, and if they did, they'd benefit from our stamina bar because it's higher. So what we need is higher recovery to utilize the abilities more often. So we do. We have a small bar with high recovery rather than a big bar with low recovery. That way we can take advantage of the two bonuses we get from our food, which is higher health and higher stamina. If you had Tri-Stat, you'd be less health, less stamina, and you'd be more magicka. And then when you take synergies, it would be really messed up. So flat stat, max stam, max health food without any other variation to that, you'll be absolutely fine. Anything else is going to mess it up. Now, the skills are very important, but you need to understand how some of them have changed. So, first of all, we're going to go into Ignis Shield. This hasn't technically changed, but one of the passives that goes along with it has, but that's for a benefit, not unnecessary a negative for us. We'll go into that a little bit more in the passives, but basically this is your group survival skill. This is how you keep people shielded. The higher your health, the bigger the shield, and it will give you a bonus as well. So if you activate this, you get Major Mending, so your healing done, so heals for you and others, is higher for 3 seconds. With our mag recovery being so high, we can borderline spam this in scenarios where we can control that, and we can constantly protect the group and increase the healing that we do towards them. Granted, we're not using really, really high healing skills, but they do benefit, believe me, especially inside a damage shield. If you've got low health and a shield over your health and then you heal from underneath it, that's less work for healers to do, and it's a lot more beneficial for your group survival. Basically, this is a loaded skill that has lots of different benefits. We're going to go over, again, some of them in the passives, but this is your activate it, shield your group, and increase your healing skill. Shields you too, just in case you're in trouble. Obviously, your health doesn't get hit if a damage shield is shielding it. Green Dragon Blood is your major heal. Basically, this will give you major fortitude, major endurance, and minor vitality all the time while this is active. If it's not active, you don't get that. It increases your health and stam recovery, which is the same as a tripod. So if it's not active, you won't have those bonuses, but your pot will. Essentially, you use it as a major heal, but you do have passives tied to this as well. So if you can keep this running at all times, great. If you can't, then at least know it's there to heal with. One of the biggest bonuses to this is the higher your health, the better, because that healing percentage bonus is going to be a bigger chunk versus someone with lower health. And the previous skill buffs it. So if you activate this, you get Major Mending, and instead of 34% if you're missing health, it's 39%. stacked on top of minor vitality, major vitality, and all that kind of stuff you could get from your group or passives on this particular setup, that can actually be a really substantial heal. The trick to this is to not spam it. If you lose 10% health, you're going to get 39% of that missing health back. If you lose 40k health, you're going to get 39% of that missing back. It's a bigger chunk and it can crit. So be risky, go low with your health and use this less often, so then you can maintain your magicka easier in order to spam other abilities that are more defensive for you and your group. This is an emergency heal button. You don't need to spam this. It's not Vigor. In fact, if you're spamming Vigor, you're doing that wrong too. This is incredibly important for any tank in the world. Pierce Armor, first ability you unlock on the Sword and Board skill line, is a Taunt. Now, if you're new to ESO, strap up. This is going to make some sense to you nice and quick. Other games, you have aggro counters. This game, you have a Taunt. If the target is taunted, you control it. If it's not, you don't. It will hit whatever it fucking likes. That is important to note first off. As soon as you absorb that mentality and understand that mechanic and how that works, you already become a better tank. Lots of people don't know how that works. Lots of people that claim to be good as a tank run into rooms and think that being there is enough to aggro everything and have control. It is not. If it's not taunted, it still has an extreme potential to just run around and smack whoever it likes. So this is your control button. If you want to maintain aggro, maintain this skill. This particular morph of it, by the way, has Major Breach and Minor Breach combined. So you actually do almost 9k penetration to the target, or 9k resistance stripping of the target. So that's really bloody helpful, especially since their cap is 18,200. So almost 9k off of that straight away without buffs and bonuses from the rest of the group. So maintain that. But the trick to this is to not overspam it. Now, as the only tank in the room, it doesn't matter how many times you stab a target, it's not going to run away. You won't over taunt it. There are some terms that are used that are confusing. You can't over taunt something by yourself. If you keep stabbing it, it will stay with you. Now, taunt lock is something that does exist. Sometimes called over taunt or taunt immunity. That's not the same thing as what you would have experienced in other MMOs. If someone else is trying to taunt the same target as you with the same skill, and you go backwards and forwards too many times, the game will initiate basically an anti-troll system, which after 5 swaps will just go, do you know what? I'm staying with the last one that stabbed me. That is the taunt. That's where it's going. That does exist. So if someone is arguing with you backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards, eventually the 5th stack, that one is staying with that particular person. That is helpful in 2 areas. 1, to prevent people from trolling you when you are the tank and they're not supposed to be and they keep spamming that skill. And 2, in situations where you may have to swap bosses occasionally as a tactic or strategy. That does exist. It does happen. Now, just bear in mind, however, in mechanics where you have to swap bosses, if you both swap with a different taunt, it resets that stack. So if one person pulls with a ranged taunt and you pull with the stab, you cancel out the previous. If you constantly use the same one, that's when it will go, okay, I've had enough. That's the difference. So while you're on your own, it doesn't matter how many times you stab a target, it won't go anywhere. But you are going to nuke your resources, so don't do that. Maintain at least every 12 seconds or so. I know some people like to put it down to the last second. Never do that. If you do that, you open yourself up for failure, because there are situations where you might get stunned all of a sudden. Then you have to get up, break free, walk over to the target and stab it again. By that point, someone's dead. Maintain it. Don't overspam it. Don't let it run out. Anyway, that was an over-the-top explanation of how taunt works, but it's needed, believe me. Now, next up is Revealing Flare. Nice and easy. Get this from the support skill line. Don't morph it. Put it on your bar. Leave it. Never touch it. That, while slotted, gives you major protection. You've basically got permafrost on yourself forever. Unless you swap bars. It's down the front bar. You keep it. On the back bar, you lose it. While you're on that bar, taking most of the damage that you would be taking, because that's where you do all your tanky stuff, you reduce all damage you take by 10%. You are already really hard to kill. This makes you very tough. Now, next up is Cinderstorm. This is in the Earth and Heart skill line. Last ability you unlock starts off as Ash Cloud morphed to Cinderstorm. This one heals, not damages. Now, as you saw earlier, our mag recovery is very, very high. So far, there's more coming, don't worry. And this drain every second is nothing to us. Absolutely nothing. So you put this on the ground, wherever you need to put it, under your feet, under your friend's feet, whatever, and for 18 seconds at that location, it will reduce the movement speed of enemies and heal allies once a second. If you have to move it, it will just restart the whole thing wherever you replace it. This is really easy to maintain, and on this particular version of the setup, is designed to help your group survive more. Use that with an Igneous Shield, and you'll get Major Mending to increase the healing done, which is bonkers. Now, if you don't want to use that, you can swap it out for a more survival or self-survival skill from the Undaunted skill line, and that is Bone Shield. Basically, if you are struggling with your Magicka resources for the moment, maybe you've done loads of chaining and pinning and now you've got much left, then you can utilize this as a damage shield here for yourself instead. Just bear in mind, of course, other people can take the synergy, and based off of their max health, they actually get a shield themselves. And Major Vitality, increasing their healing received. So the healing that you're doing from other stuff, if you are, is stronger, heals from them is stronger, etc, etc. Bear in mind, though, this is a very close quarter damage shield, so while it's very useful and great to use the other resource for that, and you can stack them, people taking the synergy need to know where it is when you're doing it. They have to be very close to activate it. I wish that was a bit further away, but it's not. It's about 6 meters or so. Now, your main ultimate on your front bar is nice and simple. This is your oh shit button. If you activate this, you get 8 seconds worth of free sword and board abilities and blocking. So you won't be knocked down from stuns and such if it doesn't knock you down unless you're blocking, or if you are blocking. It doesn't allow you to be slower when you are blocking. Everything that comes with block, you gain, and every negative you don't have. So your speed is not reduced. Nothing. You can heavy attack from underneath it as well, so it's a really good oh shit button, especially when you want to res someone. If you're low on resources, pop this, you can heavy attack from underneath it and re-taunt stuff. If someone else is dying and you keep getting stunned all the time, pop this, you won't get knocked down and you can pick them up from underneath it. It's really, really bloody handy. I would argue that in most situations, this is better than Magma Shell. Bear in mind, Magma Shell gives a damage shield to the group, which is helpful for them, but if you're in the situation where you're the only one standing or you got to res someone in an emergency, this you would still need to block with. You would still need to heavy attack and be knocked over if you got caught by a stun. And of course, if you're standing still trying to res someone and you get hit with a stun, you're going to go over. You'll get the resources back, but you're going to use them again. Taunts will still cost, etc, etc. This skill here, your taunts are free, so you can control stuff for nothing. You can heavy attack underneath it. You still block. You still got full speed. It's really, really useful, and it's cheap. So I would recommend having that. You can put Magma Shell on the back for emergencies if you want to for different situations, but everyday oh shit button, this one is solid. Sanguine Altar is in the Undaunted skill line. This is very important, obviously, because this actually applies one of our sets. If you drop it on the ground and just go back to the front bar again, this will give a very long duration of minor life steal to the enemies. Any enemies caught inside of this, if they take damage from you or the group members, whoever did the damage will heal, including you. So this is a really helpful heal over time for the entire group just for hitting stuff. And there's a synergy attached to it, so if they go very, very low health, they can activate it and then heal almost to full, depending on whether they crit or not. And that's based off of their stats, not yours. Now, our resistance bonus is deliberately, look that up if you want, look up the word deliberately, designed to not be hardened armor. You can take advantage of this if you want to, and you get a damage shield off it, which is nice, scales off your max health, resistance buff, happy days. But we are using a lot of Magicka abilities. We are draining our Magicka while having high Magicka recovery. So we don't want to add more stress to that, but we do want this buff. So what we've done is we've gone into the heavy armor skill line, and we've taken Unstoppable Brute. This is a stamina resistance bonus instead of a Magicka costing one. Same result. However, you reduce the cost of break free while this is running. And also, your first 6 seconds, you actually can't be knocked down. Unless there's very, very specific mechanics that ignore immunity to knockback and stuff. You are slower when you activate it though. So be aware, you can use this as a strategic approach to not get knocked down while trying to do something. You can use it from underneath your shield if it's a weird mechanic, but you will be slower. Now, I'm going to show you the counter for this because lots of people mess this up. They assume that because you move so slowly while it's activated, only for the first 6 seconds, that you can't run from one side of the room to the other. Technically false. So I'm going to be slower, obviously, as you can see, and then I speed up afterwards. Happy days. Now, if I wanted to go from here to here, nice and quickly, I can do that when I'm running. If I activate this, it's clearly going to take me longer. Not by much, but it is going to take me longer. The way to alleviate that is if you need to activate it right now and you need to get over there, dodge roll. Doesn't matter how slow you are, your dodge roll still covers the same gap. So if I want to get over to there and I'm really slow, I can still make it, no problem. Just watch your resources. You can cover large areas of space with a dodge roll. Bear in mind, obviously, the more dodge rolls you do closer to a previous one, it will cost more, so watch your resources. But you can still close gaps quite quickly, and then by the time the 6 seconds is over, you can still sprint afterwards. So if you're aware of how this skill works, you can, most of the time, not really struggle too much with it. If you're not aware, you'll be trying to sprint and just spending stamina going nowhere. Learn how that works, then it becomes a lot easier. Resistance buff, essentially, keep it up. Inner Rage from the Undaunted skill line is, of course, our ranged taunt. Nice and simple. If you can't reach with a stab, hit them with this, they'll come to you, stab them afterwards. You stab them afterwards for the debuff. This also has a synergy attached to it. If you hit the target with this, someone in the room, if they're at range, will be able to activate the synergy and it will blow up. Loads of enemies around it will go pop. Pretty much all there is to say about that, really. Now, this is very important. This was changed. I know there was lots of discrepancies in the past about soft taunt, which wasn't a real thing. Aggro is a real thing. If you pull stuff with a skill or you hit something with a skill, you're likely to get hit. But this did not taunt targets. So ZOS had decided over time that that was such a thing and people expected it to be a thing. And then people also managed to get themselves into situations they didn't want to be into when they were chaining stuff and pinning stuff and then things were just running away all the time. That they did add a taunt to it. This update. They added it. And it has its own unique rule to it. This one here is a solid, full taunt. If you cast it, it will be aggro to you. If it runs out, it could run off. So you can reapply it. This one you cannot reapply. If the target is not already taunted, it will temporarily taunt them for 15 seconds. If anyone reapplies a chain to that target, it will not update the timer. If anyone hits it with a real taunt over top of it, then it's controlled. This was to allow more freedom for tanks, so when they chain, and then they will run off again, that's bloody useless. It becomes a pain in the ass to micromanage. Instead, they said, how about if we chain everything in, and it's still with you temporarily to give you time? That's what it now does. So if someone else brings a chain in the room and they pull it first, they've got aggro of it for 15 seconds and you can taunt it off them. If you chain it first and then they try and chain it afterwards, if it's out of CC immunity, it can move, but it's still on you. So this allows you resource management freedom as well. Because before you may have gone chain, pin them down, taunt. It's a mess. Now it's pull, pin. If you want to apply the taunt, fair enough. Now you've got full control of it. If it's going to die anyway, well, just let it do what it's doing. It allows a lot more freedom. Bear in mind, though, this particular skill, if the target is CC immune, you will get the magic back. So it didn't give you a negative for wasting those resources, but the skill will do what it's supposed to. It will still do damage and it will still apply the initial taunt. So again, this one is a real taunt. This one is a real taunt. This one is a temporary one for the first interaction of that target. If it's already taunted, you can't override it with this. If it's not already taunted, that can't be overridden with another chain, only a real one. So a temporary, I've pulled you in, I've got aggro, now I'm going to decide what to do. And this is where you decide what to do. Choking Talons. Starts off as Dark Talons, morph it to Choking Talons, basically does flame damage, and it immobilizes the targets. So before, you would pull, pin it. After the immobilization is gone, they'll just bloody run away again. Now they won't because they listen to you for 15 seconds. You've got time to breathe. That's safer on your magical resources as well because you don't have to keep doing this all the time. But once they're in and they're pinned, you can choose to debuff them. Or if they're dead anyway, whatever, you didn't waste anything. This does apply minor maim for 10 seconds even though the immobilization is 4. So it reduces the damage you do. And it does have a synergy attached to it as well, which your group can take advantage of. Again, remember, chain it first, pin it second, then decide if you need to stab it or not. Whereas before, it was pull it, pin it, stab everything or else it runs away. That was the purpose of adding a taunt to the chain when it never used to have one. Yes, I know there's loads of arguments on the internet about that, but, I mean, read the patch notes, they added it. Now, what there is the same as a taunt lock. there is an anti-troll feature. So before, it was if you tried to constantly chain something and someone else was chaining it off you at the same time, eventually it would stop being pulled until the timer ran out, much like the taunt. That is technically still in place, but this minor or lesser or soft or fake taunt or temporary taunt cannot be messed with. Now, aggressive Warhorn obviously is a boost to your damage. Now, if you've got stam or mag increases to a healer or a DPS, then of course you do more damage. You can do higher heals. Your sets will do different things. But the crit damage is where it's really at for this particular skill. Bear in mind, that's a separate timer. That's only 10 seconds, not 30. But for us, of course, we're a tank. We've got resources in both bars. We'll take advantage of that as well. It's an all-round skill to benefit everybody. You can use other ultimates if you prefer, but technically speaking, for the majority of the time when I use this build, I put the oh shit button on the front, the damage booster on the back. Now, passives. Very important stuff. So, Ardent Flame has some really good bonuses. This increases the damage of your burn and poison status effects. We are going to do poison status effects. The damage is going to be quite nice, but we're not built for DPS. But what we do want is to take advantage of the burn and poison status effect return. So for using those status effects on the Dragon Knight, at least once every 3 seconds per type, you actually get resources back. So if something burns from Choke and Talons or our chains, or if something is poisoned by poison, which we've got in our build, don't worry, you will get one or the other resource back. Burning gives you magic back, poison gives you stamina back. We'll give a brief spoiler, using a poison glyph on our front bar weapon. So if we light attack, heavy attack, stab, or bash, we can apply that poison status. If we get lucky, the glyph will apply. There's a high chance that that will go off. If it does, we get 1k stamina back just for doing so. So technically, if it was to fire at the same time as we stab the target with a taunt, basically get the resources back from it. It's free. When you deal direct damage with an Ardent Flame ability, you reduce the enemy's movement speed. We do want to control the targets. You do chain stuff and make it slower anyway, but of course, we've got the bonus for that particular skill line, so it's handy regardless. Increases the damage over time with this ability, and your banner. Those are not massively essential, but you can get them if you want to, and who knows, you might be using them. And this increases your damage with flame and poison attacks. Again, we are using fire and poison on the build. That will benefit us. And one set that we are using, we definitely want to enhance the poison damage because the damage will contribute to our heals. That will make more sense in the gear. Draconic Power, we are using a few abilities from this skill line. This will increase the amount of damage you can block. This will give you a healing received bonus when you have an ability from this skill line active. So earlier where I said you don't have to have this running, but if you do, obviously you'll benefit. This is the benefit. You'll actually get the healing received bonus on top of what you get from this already. So they stack. This increases your health recovery and your melee range abilities that are insta-cast have a longer range. So your taunt, your light attack, and your heavy attack actually have 7 meters instead of 5. Also, increased resistances. Earth and Heart is very important. This increases the duration of your skills in this particular skill line. So your Igneous Shield is longer, as is your Cinderstorm, your heals. This will give you resources back no matter how much the ultimate costs, but the more, the better. Obviously, if we can use the Warhorn, that will give us a big boost to resources back. That's how we fill our bars. But at the same time, if we have a low amount of resources, we can use our oh shit button. It won't give us loads, but it will give us something. So you're blocking for free, you're taunting for free, you can heavy attack from underneath it, you can recover. Make sure you get this as soon as possible. Earth and Heart abilities will give the group minor brutality for 20 seconds, increasing their weapon damage. All we have to do is press Igneous Shields, basically, or Cinderstorm. Activate any of them, the group gets buffed for 20 seconds. And if you activate one of those abilities at least once every 6 seconds, you can get 3 ultimate back per cast. Helping Hands was altered. Yes, we were buffed, technically. So, while it was used on Cinderstorm per cast, that was a bit naughty. But they fixed it. I know people say nerfed. No, they fixed it. Because this is a channel. This was overtime. It's an oversight. This used to cost a large amount of magicka. So if you cast a magic skill, you would get back stamina. This was altered to a channel, and every time you cast it, it just costs you 1 second worth of cost. So you could use 300 magicka and get back nearly 1,000 stamina and spam. That's not intended. So that's gone. Now, if you activate a magic ability, the cost has to be more than the return. So technically speaking, if you added increased cost and mess with the vampire stuff, you might be able to get it up. But either way, the cost now has to be more than the gain. Now, the gain has been improved. So if you cast a Magicka ability that is more than 1120 Magicka, you will get 1120 stamina back. It used to be 990. Now it's 1120. So basically, Igneous Shield, way over 1.2k almost. Stamina back. Spam this, fill this. No cooldown. Absolutely brilliant. It always worked that way anyway with Igneous Shields. Cinderstorm is no longer a benefit from it. But now we've got more. Basically, maintain this to keep up your healing bonuses. And a buff to your group, and a shield to your group, and a shield for you. And constantly get back stamina. Now, if you're blocking, you don't recover stamina, except when you're using this. You clearly do. Nice and easy. Now, those are done. Good. Sword and Board, very simple. Get every single one of these. Reduces the cost of the skills, and reduces the cost of block. Increases your weapon and spell damage with this particular skill line, and the amount of damage you can block. Improves your bash attack, so they do more damage, and they cost 50% less stamina. Increases the amount of damage you can block from projectiles, and reduces the movement speed penalty while blocking. Bear in mind, while using the ultimate, you don't have that movement speed penalty. You move full speed. We're not using any other weapons, so that was easy. Now, heavy armor is important. We're using 6 pieces of heavy on this particular version of the build, but some of them use 7. That's more kind of website research for you. Check the website, see which version of the build you want to use. But this particular one has 6. So increase physical and spell resistance, increase health recovery and resources for being hit, increases your maximum health, and increases your stamina or magicka, depending on the type of weapon you're using. Return when you heavy attack stuff. Yes, that stacks with off balance. And increases your healing received per piece as well. These are very important. Get them as soon as you can. We are using 1 piece of light, however. The 1 piece of light does give us effectiveness versus snares, reduces the cost of sprint, increases mag recovery, and reduces the cost of magical abilities. That is actually an important passive bonus there. Increases spell resistance, increases your crit chance, not massively important, and increases your penetration. That is actually important because if we go through the resistances, we do more damage, which gives us a bigger heal. That will make sense in the gear. Medium, none. Now, we are, of course, not taking advantage of fight skill abilities, so we don't need those. No major skill, we do need Undaunted. Take every synergy you see, it will heal you and give you resources back. Pretty straightforward there. And also, if you're using different types of armor, you'll get 2% for all 3 resources per type. We've got 1 light piece, we've got 6 heavy pieces. The 2 differences means 2% for each. You are going to want this. So, while revealing flare is on the bar, take advantage of magical aid or Magicka aid. Now, bear in mind, if you put barrier on, you'll take advantage of this furthermore, but that's up to you. This will give you a 10% recovery bonus for each support ability slotted. So having that on your bar, or cleanse, or seed shield, or whatever hell you want on there, depending on the fight, will give you this bonus. If you have 2 on there, you get the bonus twice. So if we were to put on Revive and Barrier, for example, the bonus we now receive is 20%. And it can go up and up and up and up and up. Again, if we wanted to put Cleanse on here as well, 30%. So there are variations of this build which you can alter to benefit from much higher mag recovery and other utility bonuses depending on how you want to play. Again, on the website, there are multiple different variants of the build for boosting damage, for boosting heals, for boosting shields, for boosting resistances, for boosting penetration bonuses. There's all sorts of different variants, but this passive is very important if you start changing some of that stuff out. We are Imperial. Max health, 2k, highest health bonus in the game. 2k stamina, highest stam bonus in the game. And reduces the cost of absolutely everything by 6%. High recovery, reduction to cost, flat stat increases. Can't go wrong. Can you use any other race? Of course you can. Use whatever the hell you like. But this one was absolutely solid all round. Alchemy, we are going to use tripods. Take advantage of medicinal use so you've got 100% uptime on your bonuses from those pots. Now we're going to get into the gear. Now, I'm not going to go over every single variation of the setup in this particular video. I did that in the previous one and it was really long. So if you want to see all the different variations, there are choices on the website. The link is in the description below. Make sure you use it. Go check it out. Now, I know you're going to get people going, "Ah, selfish tank." There's nothing selfish about keeping everyone else alive. Just saying. That's logic, by the way. Makes sense. Now, this particular set is incredibly powerful and has been on the build ever since its first initial release in 2016, I think, maybe 2017. Comes from Imperial City Prison. You can get it on normal. The sword is actually a named drop from the last boss, so if you get lucky, you can get it. And the shield is actually from the quest. So that's easy peasy. And the weapon on the back bar can be the same as the weapon on the front. You could just duplicate it from the sticker book. You want the front bar weapon to be charged with a poison glyph. The reason for that is you want to take advantage of the status effect, uptime, and get that stamina back every time it pops. Max health, healing taken, and max health. When you take damage, you summon poison under the target, and it does damage every 1 second. Every 1 second that it does damage will heal you for 100% of the damage caused. Higher pen, higher flat damage, higher poison damage means more damage from that, means bigger heals for you. Stacked on top of healing received bonuses, which we have, healing done bonuses, which we have, makes that incredibly powerful. And the more enemies in the poison, the more of those ticks you get. You are really, really hard to kill. If you want to kill yourself in content for any reason, you're doing a wipe or whatever, switch to your back bar. The full 5-piece set is not on the back bar. It's only on the front. So, charged weapon with poison, sturdy shield with health. Again, there's a quest shield and a last boss weapon. Easiest way to get that stuff. Back bar, doesn't matter which variation of the weapon you choose. You can use the same one if you want. But I tend to pick a different visual just so I don't get confused. But again, on that one, you don't really need charged on the back. You can get away with defending maybe if you want to just bolster your resistances a little bit, or maybe infused. If you want to use infused, you can have a damage shield on there and that can help you, or you can use a crush or whatever. It's up to you. Your choice. It's your setup. But this damage shield on the back was quite helpful because you don't want to get caught short on the back. Although it's quite small, if you use an infused version of this, it's not too bad. Winter's Respite is actually in several different places on this build. First of all, it's on the shield. So when you swap bars, you've got the 1-piece bonus there. Secondly, it is... Where the hell is the other one gone? We've moved these around a little bit. Ah, we're on the front bar. That's why it's confusing. Switch bars. There we go. This is the full set on the back bar, not on the front. So if you are on the front bar, you will get the full Leech and bonus. If you're on the back bar, you'll get the full Winter's Respite bonus. This is very simple. Activate your blood funnel, swap bars back to the front again. This will place on the ground healing over time for anyone caught inside of this just by activating an ability that goes on the ground. Now, we've split this up very specifically to make this work. So we've got a belt. So it's the smallest light piece with the lowest resistances. If you put it on any of our other pieces here, we'd get really negative effects towards our resistances for the heavy pieces. So put that on the belt. Mag recovery, flat magic, flat magic. Put it on the jewelry as well. Infused, healthy, and healthy with mag recovery on all three. Again, on the front bar, you'll benefit from the 4-piece bonus for having the belt and the jewelry. On the back bar, you'll benefit from the 4-piece bonus and the 5-piece, and you'll benefit from the heal for you and the group. On the front bar, you will have leeching, so you can survive all day long. On the back bar, you'll have 4 pieces of leeching because you've dropped the shield. See how that works? Backwards, forwards, backwards, forwards. Leech in front, Winter's Respite back. If you want to survive, stay on the front bar. If you want to drop a heal, quickly switch to the back one. The monster helmet is Stonekeepers. This is more for maintenance of your resources. We've got very high mag recovery. We've got no stamina recovery while blocking, so this can actually give you some boost resources back from that, and it gives you a heal as well. Basically, just block. Every 0.25 seconds, you stack up a charge, and when you get to 6 charges, it'll pop and give you resources of all 3. That can happen once every 14 seconds. It will happen a lot. Shoulder and helmet of that, or any other monster set of your choice, which again, on the website, lots of options there. Bloodlord's Embrace, which is a mythic item, is absolutely fucking insane. Alongside our high mag recovery, if you bash the target, you don't have to interrupt it, just bash it at the beginning of the fight. Every time you take damage while blocking, you restore 1.6k magicka, and it's going to happen once a second. Mag recovery is calculated every 2 seconds, so technically, we've got 3.2k mag recovery if we get hit once a second from that target, on top of the 3k recovery we almost have, depending on the setup. If you use a couple of support abilities, then of course you've got about 3k recovery. If you use one, then you've got 2.5 and so on. It's really, really powerful. So if you're blocking, you get back resources. If you're blocking while something's bashed, you get back resources. You get the idea. Just block and you're done. Now, it's very important to note that on this bar, maintaining igneous shields will keep up major mending, which will make this stronger. It will make your heal stronger. It will make your leeching stronger. It will make this heal stronger. And everyone standing inside of this can constantly stay alive. So in nice stack and burn scenarios, you can keep your group alive while being very hard to kill. And your healer can focus more on other things, like keeping the squishies alive or doing some mechanics or whatever. Now we're going to go over a very quick demonstration for those that may have seen this before. You know what to expect. For those that haven't, hold on. So we're going to go into Hellride. We're going to pull fucking everything, the whole lot, and you can see how the build can survive on its own without the need of a babysitter, which means in trial scenarios, the people that are ultra squishy on purpose can have more attention paid to them. Also, for the record, yes, this is on vet. So there you go. Vet difficulty. Let's run through absolutely everything and pull them all. So what you're going to see here is a combination of resource management in a very extreme situation, which you're probably not going to have to be in, and your survival at the same time as being able to maintain everything. So Ignis Shields, remember, gives you stamina back. Okay, so if you cast it, you get resources. Tripods keeps your resources up because you've got recovery bonuses. Your heal keeps up a healing done bonus. Your resistance buff obviously gives you CC immunity. Your poison gives you a status chance to give you resources back. Your helmet and shoulder set gives you resources back. You get the idea. Now, just for doing damage or being hit even, just for being hit, you will get back health. As you can see, the poison cloud over there is going to keep me basically alive indefinitely. If I have to use resource management here, I'll just drop an ulti and I can basically just stand in it. You can block or not block. It's up to you. Obviously, you got to maintain that and block the big stuff, not all the stuff. But it's really, really hard to die. And one more major benefit to the game, which is recently added, is that if you hold block and bar swap, you do not drop your block anymore. How cool is that? Absolutely bonkers. Drop my block then. I said don't drop your block. Now remember the oh shit button? I can run around full speed, heavy attack from underneath it, and fill everything. Your monster set will still proc off of the block ulti. And you still do everything you could normally do. Again, this is an extreme scenario that you're never going to really have to approach, but you can. Anyway, I'm going to jump off the cliff. I tried to die then. I actually tried to die and failed. Now, as far as champion points are concerned, this is where it starts to make a bit more sense. So, these white or yellow aura ones, these are basic passives. You can unlock those and they will just stick to your character. You don't have to do anything with them. Every character in the game can have those. Just get them when you can. But the most important thing is to unlock the slottables. You need 4 choices or 4 slottables to put at the top there. Now, if you unlock this skill line here, you do get status effect bonuses and extra weapon and spell damage towards certain abilities, which is quite helpful because if you do extra damage with leeching, you will heal more. But you want some more defensive stuff as well. So you want to go into Ironclad, max that as soon as you can, unlock these basic passives here for extra survivability. Especially this one, actually. Reduces your damage taken from non-player attacks by 5% per stage. That's really helpful. This one is for single target attacks. Remember, Ironclad is for damage taken from direct. So it could be AoE, it could be single target, but as long as it's direct, that counts. Those two stack nicely. You want Bulwark to increase your resistances overall, because there are bonuses to having a shield or a frost staff with this, but you're going to have to unlock one of these first to unlock that. Now, the other one does technically scale off your max magical bar, so if you are another race, you get a slight bit of bonus out of this, but it's not the end of the world. With a Warhorn, that will go much, much higher, but this gives a recovery bonus to the group if they get overhealed, and basically you will. All you need to do is maintain this and this. You get overhealed all day long. My food just ran out. That was helpful. And this every 12 seconds will last for 6. So you can take that, or you can take advantage of this one here, which gives you a really nice bonus. Where's this gone? Damage shield for your group once every 30 seconds per target if they are healed under 25% health, yourself included. So keep your heals on the ground. As long as people are getting healed, it is for an emergency, they'll get a big damage shield. On top of the one that stacks here, which is your Ignis. Easy peasy. Now, the red stuff, This is quite straightforward, but it depends on how you feel about your character. There's other options, obviously, but these don't require any prerequisites at all. Increased max health, increased armor, increased recovery across the board. Then you want to come down to here, unlock this to halfway, unlock this to well, not even halfway, just one step, so 10 points in there, and then get your max health, and then take advantage of this. 30 health recovery for every 10 ultimate you have. So if you're holding on to an ultimate, you got really high health recovery. If you're not, then you don't. So if you're trying to strategically approach the fight and use a Warhorn at an opportune moment, for doing so, during that time, you have higher health recovery, you're harder to kill. Outside of that, you can take advantage of course, faster res speeds. There's lots of different options here, but these two here, you're not likely to get kills very often, so there's no point in having those. I'd recommend that or that. The rest of them, get in your own time. They will benefit you for block reduction, to cost, to damage taken, to bash reduction to cost, all sorts of extra bonuses here. But again, they're passive. They don't have to be slotted, so they're not really a choice. It's more of get them when you can. This tree doesn't matter one bit, really doesn't. But if you want to take some that I would recommend, this doesn't affect you in combat, but makes your food last longer, which is fine. This gives you an opportunity to not even use a potion, but still benefit from it. This makes you faster when not in combat, and this gives you a chance to get higher quality items from chests. Again, none of these are going to make you more combat efficient, but they can help your bank. Except for the speed bonus, that's not in combat, but between fights. I mean, if you're going for a speed run, that's not a game changer as such, but you can get from one location to another faster. So now, it's time for fashion. So if you've been to the website already, you already know what I'm using. Also, if you've been to the website already, how did you not find the video first? Watch the whole video. Go back. Don't skip it. Anyway, fashion. We are using, same as before, Divine Prosecutor Helmet, which is heavy. Worm Cult Chest, which is also heavy. Imperial 4 Shoulders. They're the big chunky ones. Worm Cult Gauntlets. Dramaphra Belt, which is a light one. Worm Cult Greaves, and Worm Cult Sabatons. All the stuff is heavy apart from the belt. We are using the Lord Warden Axe, not that it matters. That's a monster set one you had to get from the Crown Store. Use whatever you like, really. Just as long as it's different to the back one so you don't get confused. Shield of Sensual Shield. Zivkin's Sword, which is actually the same visual as the one you get from the boss. And Morag Tong Shield. I always differentiate between the front and the back so that you can tell, if you're not looking at your bars, which one you're on. That's pretty much it. Oh, the colors we're using. I forgot the colors. I think I forgot that in my Toxicity build, actually. If you're watching this after Toxicity, everything he's using is black. Spoiler. Now, this is quite straightforward. We're using mostly Warrior's Steel, I believe, for the kind of purpley metallic color, which is pretty much all over it. But we do have Daedric Red for some of the accents, if you like. There's not much of it, but most of it is literally Warrior's Steel and Daedric Red. That will also be on the website. Now, again, to recap, there's lots of different variations of the build. On the website, there's the gear charts of what you can use for different situations. But if you want the basic everyday version of hard as hell to kill and keep everybody else alive, keep those up, keep Ignis Shields up, don't drop the targets. Pretty much it. Bear in mind, if you're holding block and you swap bars, it will no longer catch you anymore. There's no longer a gap. And if you use this chain, that's a temporary taunt. It is yours until that runs out. You can't reapply it with this. Look carefully at the timer. You can't reapply it. But you can stab it. So hopefully it helps. Hopefully it's not too boring. Hopefully you now understand how to approach this particular build. If you've seen it before, congratulations. It's still in a solid place and even better than before. If you haven't seen it, go try it out. You're going to love it. Again, variations are on the website at xynodegaming.com. If you're not subscribing, hit the button. It's free. If you want to follow on social media, there are links for Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and of course, Patreon, where you can support financially to get access to the private Discord channel, amongst other perks and bonuses as well, including one-to-ones and early access to build videos. Once again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.